Coming up next, we're going to praise Brent Venables a little bit here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And again, thank you for everybody that's hitting the subscribe button. Those sub numbers are just flying right now. If you haven't hit the subscribe button over on YouTube, please go do that. Also, if you like what we do here on Locked On Sooners, make sure you go leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Jay, Brent Venables, sometime, I want to say it was in the wintertime, had approached Joe Castiglione, had a conversation with him about giving back $1 million in his 2025 salary as a way to participate in the revenue sharing efforts for the Oklahoma Sooners. This story came out late last week from USA Today Sports as they kind of dug into contracts and salaries. And they do this every year as part of their data, creating their database. And then they do information requests with each university that is then beholden to respond to those. Well, Brent Venables gave back $1 million.
Yeah, an open records request that USA Today did back on Friday the 29th just to verify, because this had kind of leaked out. Like you said, right at the end of the week, we had heard about supposedly Brent Venables reduced his pay for the 25 season, which, keep in mind, it's only for this season. Maybe he'll do it again. We don't know. We'll see what happens this season or whatnot. We'll see who opens they checkbooks. But he gave it back and he put it towards the revenue sharing. And he had mentioned in the presser that one, it wasn't supposed to get out. It was just kind of a thing that they approached, like you said, Joe seeing him about it. Him and Julie did, just because they had been just so blessed, right? And he says that, they've been blessed and they have been favored a lot more than he feels like they deserve, which, I disagree 100%, but he was willing to give back, and his goal was to put it towards revenue share. So he made sure he did it before July 1st. So this happened in February. And so it's been kept quiet all of this time. And he's one of many coaches that have done that. You saw Brian Kelly did it. I think he's matching whatever up to $1 million in donations to what they were doing at LSU. Mike Gundy did it. Same thing with Mike Norvell. He actually gave a whole bunch more of his salary. Yeah. It's like $4 million or something like that after the season they had. But, and they started the season off strong, knocking off Alabama the way they did. But I digress. Yeah. Brent Venables wanted to make sure that he wanted to see the team win. He wants to see the team be successful, and this was one way to be able to help lock in the current talent they have on the roster.
It speaks volumes to the kind of person that Brent Venables is, and I think it just shows leadership, because as universities go out there and they're constantly asking donors for money and fans for money for all kinds of stuff, whether it's for buying tickets or buying spots in certain tailgating, experiences, donating to NIL causes, things like that. Sometimes the fans kind of get tired of being asked, but to see your coach go and kind of lead the way, I think that speaks volumes to him. And he talked about how it was important for Oklahoma to be in the retention business of the talent that they have on the roster first and foremost, and then set them up to go and be effective on the recruiting trail as well. And so it's a forward thinking idea. And I think he understands that $1 million today, if we're successful and I get to continue to coach this team long-term, that's really kind of small potatoes. And this is all relatively speaking. $1 million for me is big potatoes. $1 million on a $8 million contract, that's a little bit different. But if he's coaching this team, not just through this contract, but gets another extension because Oklahoma's been successful, that's a smart investment from Brent Venables and Julie Venables into the program.
Yeah, you can tell that they're lifers for Oklahoma.
They want to be.
They're here for Oklahoma. And I have appreciation for someone that wants to see the program be successful. And so, that's something you can't be mad at.
No, program guy, man.
He's a program guy. Really is. He really is a program guy. And I think that's the way to really look at that. And so, I'm just happy to see that he's willing to donate back and put it back into the program. Can't beat that.
I mean, we know that R. Mason Thomas got a big offer to be pulled away from Oklahoma last winter. And I'm sure he wasn't the only one. I bet there was others like a Robert Spears Jennings. I'm sure people approached him. Kip Lewis, I'm sure people approached him as well. There was a lot of those guys on the defensive side of the ball. We know David Stone flirted with the transfer portal in the spring as well. So like, and this $1 million, man, that could go a long way to retaining the talent that's on your roster in a given season or bringing in talent from the transfer portal. So again, it's not fully, philanthropic by Venables. It's going to benefit him too, because
of course
more talent on the team gives him a better opportunity to win. But again, he could just be out there asking and not participating in the revenue sharing fundraising in his own right. So again, I think it's just it's a solid move. And again, hopefully it pays off for him. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that don't really care for Brent Venables. And I get, listen, not everybody is going to be everybody's cup of tea. That's the way the world works. Not everybody's going to like everybody. I personally think Brent Venables is a good dude, and I want him to be really successful.
Honestly,
I don't want to have to endure a coaching change where Brent Venables gets fired. I don't want to have to endure people lobbying for an Urban Meyer to come to Oklahoma, because I don't want that guy coaching my team. I don't want Ed Orgeron coaching my team. I don't want to have to deal with it. Do they win national championships? Yeah. But what's the cost, man? Like, what's the moral cost to some of that? And am I being naive? Probably. Yeah. But that's just what happens when you get old and you got kids. You want your team and the coach that you pull for to be a good dude, somebody that your kids can look up to and be excited about. Brant.
Yeah, I'm glad you got the moral compass for us all there, John, because, yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's for a lot of fans, they don't care about having a moral compass.
Listen, I understand. You just want dubs. That's all that matters to you. And listen, dubs matter to me. I want the wins. I'm not just here to play for fun. Like, I'll let my kids on the soccer field play for fun. Oklahoma's got to go win football games. Brent Venables has to go win football games. But I really want him to go win football games.
I'm with you there.
I want all of it. I want a good dude who wins a lot of football games.
Yeah, that's what I want too. I would like to have a great guy that also wins championships. It's hard to find those. It's hard to find another Nick Saban like that. You don't get many people that people just adore that could win. And so, yeah, I like the fact that he is invested in the team, and you can tell that the team is invested in him. That's something hard to find, and it's hard to get. And you just hope that, your team ends up that way when you hire a guy. And so far it seems like the players are responding well. You see massive improvements. Now the question is, can we go out there and just get dubs? That'll make everybody happy. But shout out to Brent Venables for that, because I do think that was a very noble thing of him.
Yep, absolutely. And Oklahoma's going to have a big game this week against the Michigan Wolverines. We'll dive into some of that. We'll have Isaiah Hole. We'll connect with him of Locked On Wolverines and do a crossover later in this week. We'll also touch base with some of the other big-time hosts on the Locked On Network to break down everything that's happened in Week 1 and everything that's coming in Week 2. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube. You can follow me at John9Williams and read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer.
Sooner.